And I told him how proud I felt to be an American at that moment, much in the way that I did when I learned that our military had killed Osama bin Laden. I just felt incredibly proud.
These two seem comparable to you?
Incredibly proud to have been.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but why that comparison in particular?
I believe they're comparable.
In what way?
Absolutely. Osama bin Laden was a terrorist who committed a horrific act against American people and against our republic. And I believe that Donald Trump is a terrorist who committed horrific acts against the American people.
Hey folks, Dale Jackson here for Yellow Hammer. Now, it appears there was a competition over the last 24 hours to come up with the dumbest take about Donald Trump being indicted yet again, this time for January 6th. I'm not going to get into all the nonsense involving the January 6th committee and how this case follows their framework and all this other nonsense. Look, this is politics and it's dumb. And it's not how things are supposed to be done. But some people think this is politics and it's fine. And they're completely okay with this as long as their guy is gotten. So I said, it seems like there's maybe a competition for the dumbest take out there. There's a clear winner, but I want to start first with United States Representative Terry Sewell. Yes, she represents Birmingham's 7th District, and I think she's telling on herself. One, that she doesn't understand how the system works, and two, what this actually is all about. She writes this on Twitter. These are her thoughts, and there's even a finger pointing down, so super serious. She writes this: yesterday's indictment is another indication that no matter your position, no one is above the law. Now, if you stopped right there, I'd say, okay, that's a simplistic bunch of nonsense, but at least I can respect the idea. Surely her next post would have been about Hunter Biden or Joe Biden or Burisma or grifting, corruption, and all this other stuff, but that's not it. Well, she writes this: we are seeing the political process play out. And though we do not know the outcome, all parties who are involved in one of the darkest days in our nation's history must be held accountable. Now let's talk about this for a quick second, because we have to be honest with ourselves when we have these conversations. We can talk about this stuff and be adults. It is possible to do that and still be a reasonable human being. But is Terry Sewell really being a reasonable human being in this case? I don't think that she is. I think she sounds quite ridiculous. Why does she sound ridiculous? Well, she sounds ridiculous because she seems to think, and maybe she believes this, maybe it's true, that part of the political process is the Department of Justice indicting you and trying to send you to jail. That, of course, is not part of the political process. It surely should not be part of the political process. And I don't think she really knows what she's talking about there. But it's still not the dumbest take we've seen yet. It's pretty dumb. Completely misunderstands how the system works and is out of line in almost every way. Still up there. Maybe one day she'll wise up and someone will say, hey, that's a pretty stupid take, and she'll take it down. We're not there yet. But there's a dumber take out there. This individual is one of the police officers from January 6th. He has become famous for cussing on CNN and saying outrageous things, while people who know better look at him and say, wow, what a really great take. Wow, what a really great take. And here he is with another one of those world famous, really great takes.
And I told him how proud I felt to be an American at that moment, much in the way that I did when I learned that our military had killed Osama bin Laden. I just felt incredibly proud.
These two seem comparable to you?
Incredibly proud to have been.
I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but why that comparison in particular?
Why that comparison is the question. And when you've lost Laura Coates, you got yourself a little bit of a problem, maybe saying that repetitively. But wow, what a crazy thing to say. Osama bin Laden killed 3,000 plus Americans and engaged in a war on terror against the United States. a war of terror against the United States. And Donald Trump told people to go peacefully and patriotically protest, and it got out of hand in a riot. But sure, yeah, same thing.
Killer.
I believe they're comparable.
In what way?
Absolutely. Osama bin Laden was a terrorist who committed a horrific act against American people and against our republic. And I believe that Donald Trump is a terrorist who committed horrific acts against the American people.
You can imagine that that is a very eyebrow-raising statement, to say the least. The notion of Osama bin Laden in comparison to Donald Trump, it likely speaks to just how deeply you have been concerned and have felt about all of this. But are you concerned that statements like that, or the rhetoric surrounding what his role has been, is going to cloud people's view of this indictment as a fair process?
It's not a fair process, and his words are actually being used, I think, appropriately. Because this is what people actually think on y'all's side. And if you'll notice, she's not saying, wow, what a really stupid thing to say. He's lost her because, hey, you're giving away the game here. Don't do that. Don't say these things. You've got to keep it. You got to keep it locked up here. You can't be going crazy and saying Donald Trump reminds you of Osama bin Laden, even though we'd love to give them the exact same penalty. You sound crazy here. We're not trying to sound crazy. We're just trying to be crazy. And now he's going to try to maybe clean this up a bit?
I think that the only person or people whose view matters with regards to this indictment are the jurors who will eventually be sat and listen to the facts and ultimately make a judgment as to whether or not Donald Trump is guilty of the charges that Jack Smith and the Department of Justice have brought forward.
The DOJ, as
Other
you know,
than that, what I say, what I say or what Republican lawmakers say is just, shit to take up time on cable news.
Like I said, this is just a guy looking for attention and saying outrageous things in order to get it. And he's getting it. He's getting it. And he's just pointing out this is just stuff people say on cable news in order to take up time and get attention. He's doing just that. An absolute embarrassment here. But they'll tell you how powerful, how brave that he speaks. Yeah, it is. The guy isn't used to any pushback, and we got even the slightest bit. He collapsed under the pressure. Hopefully they'll learn a lesson here about who this guy really is and how uninteresting the things he has to say actually are. But my guess will be they'll say, he's a cop who was sad about January 6th, so we'll keep running him out there and putting him in these situations. And a complete embarrassment. His statements are actually dumber than Terry Sewell, so congratulations to her. This guy's actually dumber.